We live in a world where the amount of yes you get or the amount of yes you give is what determines if you are liked or if you're a success. My name is Lauli Bitoye, and I'd like to tell you that no is also an answer. Yes, no is also an answer. And it's not bad. It's not a bad answer. It's not the answer of a failure. It's not the answer of being rejected. No. No is also an answer. So the next time you make a request of someone and you get a no, don't feel bad. Don't feel like you failed. Don't feel like you'll never ask for help from someone else. Don't feel like that project is not going to work because you got a no. Don't feel that way. Also, don't feel bad about yourself. Don't feel terrible. Don't beat yourself up because you have to say no to someone who asks for help. When you know you can't offer it, don't feel bad about saying no to events, to programs, to invitations, because you don't want to offend the person inviting you. We live in a world where we are all tempted to become yes man to people simply because we seek their validation, we seek their approval, we seek their ratings of whether we are success or failure. We cannot afford to give people the power to describe how we feel about ourselves. I know we constantly yearn to get in the good graces of other people, of those around us. We want to get in the good grace of our boss. We want to get in the good grace of our colleagues, of our friends, of our families. So we are tempted, we are inclined to say yes to their tiniest of requests. Yeah, I know at a point in our lives when we were kids, we had no choice but to say yes to everything. But I want to believe we've come of age to the point where we do have a choice. We do have the capacity to say no. Not because we're being proud, not because we are being defiant, but because at this point in time in our lives, we also need to put ourselves in check. We need to put ourselves in line. I remember personally at a point in my life, every question, every request made of me was yes, because I just needed people to validate me, to like me, to say good things about me. So ask me, there's a program, there's an event coming up, yes. Can you help me do this? Yes. Will you go here for me? Yes. And usually, most of the time, the yes comes out of reluctance, comes out of that I wish this person didn't ask me. But then, once the question or once the request is made, I feel obligated to say yes. Not because I want to, not because I can make out the time, not because I can afford that fees, not because I have the resources, but simply because I want to get in the person's good grace. I want the person to say something nice about me. I want the person to give a good report to others about me. So I kill myself. I take on tasks that more than I can handle. I take on requests that I don't have the resources to fulfill, all because I need validations from others. And it kept on grinding me to the ground. It kept on pushing me down. It kept on making me feel less of a person. And that's not a good way to live. It's not. So, people come and make requests. Always. If you can, if you have the time, if you have the resources, not just when it's spare. Of course, sometimes you need to make sacrifices. Sometimes. But not every time. Or else, at the end of the day, you would have given yourself away and there will be nothing left. And the same people you gave everything for would look at you, laugh and say he was there for everybody but never took care of himself. So you need to learn to say no. Not just as a force of habit, or not just because you're trying to be defiant, but because you also need to take care of yourself. So I need you to look at yourself today. The project you've done and someone has said no to you, it's not because the project wasn't good. It was probably because the person couldn't afford to finance it. The idea you shared to your boss and he said no, it doesn't mean the idea was bad. It probably was not a good time. It probably needed more work from you. It probably needed a little more effort on your part. Or the person was just not in the mood at that point in time. So don't be scared to try again. Don't be scared to pitch the idea to someone else. Don't be scared to say no when someone makes a request that you cannot fulfill at a particular point in time. You have the right to say no too. No is an answer. You can't say it. You will say it. Go and say it. It is an answer.